All right, I'm here with Brian Porter. This is 2008 Key West On the Water Anarchy. Today's talk is sponsored by Torsen Marine, which I'm sure you're familiar with, Brian Torsen. But I got Brian Porter here, who really is sort of a legend in the scow and Melges 24 community. The guy's been making boats go fast for a long time. And Brian's currently sitting in fourth in the Melges 24s. He's also the current national champion. We had a lot of fun following you in Detroit. I've had a lot of fun following you around the track for a long time too. But Brian, I guess my biggest question for you, and I think for our fans, you guys, you and your family, you and your brother as well, put together really good programs, whether it's A scows, E scows, 24s, whatever. You guys put it together. What do you do? What is the secret to the fact that everything you get into, you work hard and you win?
You know, we've just been doing it for a long time, number one, but really it goes back to when we were kids. We just had a passion for the sport early, and it took us a while to get, you know, good at it, but we take it seriously. We really want to win. My brother and I both played a lot of sports growing up, so we were very competitive, and we really just had a drive to excel at sailing. That was kind of the sport we picked for the longevity of our sporting careers, and we've been blessed to grow up near Lake Geneva. And you know, when I was a kid, I watched Buddy win his Olympic medals and you know, world championships, and then he went on to the America's Cup. We were really blessed to see all that as little kids, and have him kind of take us under his wing and teach us about the sport. And we took so much from that, and as did everybody in our area. And we really just have a great group of sailors that we sail with, and we all want to win. You know, we all want to do well, and that's really what does it. It's the whole team and kind of the area we grew up in, and it just it's led to great things for us. We love the sport, and we love all the people like you that we meet. You know, we have friends all over the world in the sailing community, and we just have a real drive to do as well as we can in the sport.
What's your next? What's the next boat you guys are going to get into?
Well, I'm sure we'll be getting a 32 at some point. You know, we have some 24 sailing left in us, and we'll never stop doing the scow sailing. The scow sailing is terrific because you know, we could get our kids involved with us at really young ages, and now they're at the point, well, they beat us in the E-Scow Inland last year, our kids did. And so now we're at the point where a 32 makes some sense. We've got the bodies to do it. All of our kids are young, and they're full grown and strong, and they're good sailors. So we'll be getting into that next, I think. But we're so busy with the other stuff, it's really a matter of when can we fit that boat in. But it's coming at some point.
By next year, Key West?
I don't know. You know, I still have some things I want to do in the 24s. So
you guys are just so good, man. You're so good.
We've been the bridesmaid in that Worlds a couple times, and so we'd like to. You know, those are so hard to win, but we'd like to give that a couple more legitimate shots. I think before we really get into the 32 full time.
Tell our fans the quick story of what happened at Worlds this year.
Well, it was a great event, and the last race, as I'm sure most people who follow the thing know, was extremely windy with big waves, and I think a lot of people think we just broached. We were winning the race going into the finish line, but we didn't just broach. Our tack line blew on our kite, which is what broached us. But I felt good about that race. I felt like I sailed one of the best races of my life under pressure, and we were going to win that race. We were about 2 minutes from winning it when the tack line blew, and it was blowing well over 30 knots at the time, and there just wasn't a whole lot we could do about it. We were really at the point where we thought we were going to be able to get the points between Dave Ullman and us. We had him back a couple boats, and you know, there were several good boats around him that he was going to have trouble beating, and we kind of had the race won when that happened. And so it was like we were just soaking in the wind because we had made our final jibe. We really hadn't had any mistakes in that race. We had gone out of our way on the first beat to try to hurt Dave. And then we sailed a really good race and a really competitive race with 3 Italians, the good French boat, the good British boat, and Dave and us. And it was fun because at the last weather mark, we all kind of congregated there after that long race in those big seas. And I mean, we were going off those waves at about 19 knots. And when we surf out of them and hit the next wave, we'd have about 2 feet of water just wash over the whole boat. You'd slow down to about 17 knots, and then you'd release again. I mean, it was really fun sailing. But we did all of our maneuvers well and had finally gotten a comfortable lead in the race and made our final jibe to approach the line, and it was all good. And now we're looking around to see where Dave is. We knew that Joe Fly was in a safe second and that he was going to be third at best, and we were hoping for fourth is what we needed to clinch the wind. And then all of a sudden we were all standing on the inside of the boat, and it made such a loud noise, none of us were quite sure what happened at first, because when the tack line blew and the bowsprit came in and the kite went out and stayed full and tipped us over, but it sounded like something broke, but nothing actually broke. And the minute we released the halyard on the kite, the boat slid over the kite and twisted around the keel, and that was all she wrote. But, you know, it's funny, if I had broached the boat just by pilot error, I would have felt horrible. But I didn't feel bad about the whole deal because we sailed a good race, so we really did our best. And Ullman, you know, just sailed a better event.
You know, last year Rossini and Blue Moon destroyed this regatta and won it by going away, right? I think they had 5 bullets or something. Is that right?
In Key West?
Yeah.
No, that was the World's a couple. Like that was a while back. Last year, I think Simonetti won last.
Right. I'm sorry. It was.
Yeah, he said, but that came down to the final race.
All right. Sorry about that, but you know, looking at Blue Moon yesterday, we were out there for a while, and they were a long way ahead of the fleet. And I think they had 2 bullets and a 2.
Yeah.
And you know, and between them and Ricardo, the top Europeans just seem really good when they meet up with the Americans.
Yeah, they're good.
What is it? You know, we had the Melges European class chairman on our boat yesterday watching, and he said that a lot of what he sees is that there's more competition there, because it's closer. You know, there's just more competition. What do you think the U.S. class can do to sort of bring its level up a little bit?
Yeah, well, that's a good question.
Especially, I imagine you're going to Sardinia.
Yeah, we are. And you know, when you get all the top Americans, you have some great racing, as good as they have over there. They're deeper. They're just deeper. They're just more of them. And you know, you go to the World Championships over there. I've been to a few of them over in Europe, and you know, in La Rochelle, I think we had 130 or 127 boats, and here we had like 126 boats. In Torquay we had close to 100 boats. There are just more boats over there, and it does seem like they're a little more centralized, you know, between the French and Italians in particular. Got a lot of good boats in those 2 countries, and they've got a lot of great sailing. And it's a little more spread out in the United States. You know, it's hard to get the West Coast guys with the East Coast guys on a more regular basis, I think. And really, we do you know, Key West is really the big U.S. event besides the Nationals, or if we have a Worlds here. You know, and then now we do have some regional regattas, but you don't get all the guys from the different geographic locations to every event. But I think our U.S. fleet is pretty darn tough too. I really do. And it just as tough when you get to the top guys. I think that, you know, our top guys are just as good. Maybe they do a little more sailing.
Living in Charleston now, we've got you know, we had the Lake Lanier guys come over because their lakes dried up, and now we're up to about 11 boats on the harbor. We're really trying to grow it. Can you give us a recommendation and give our readers a general recommendation? Can you give just general sailors with one design fleets, give them some recommendations on how to grow their local fleets?
Boy, you know, that's always tough, but I find that we have a pretty good Melges 24 fleet on Lake Geneva. We have a lot of good local fleets. And one of the things that we do, particularly like in our A-Scout fleet.
Hey Vince.
He's the man.
Yeah. You're the man too.
He's the man.
Anyway, in our A-Scout fleet, one of the things that we do that's really fun and has created a lot of, enthusiasm about the class. We sail our races on a Tuesday night, so there are no conflicts with anything else. We go out and we have 2 really nice back-to-back races, and then we all go in and eat dinner at our club together. And so we have about 10 A-Scouts right now, so you have about 60 people sailing, plus wives and kids, and then we actually get about 30 spectator boats out there for every race.
Wow.
So we get a couple hundred people at the club on a Tuesday night. You know what I mean? It's like a really fun thing that we do in that class. So I think that's a big part of it, is creating that kind of class enthusiasm and sort of a family atmosphere about the class. And it's done wonders for those fleets. And we have it in other classes on Lake Geneva as well. You know, we sail our Melges 24s on Friday night, sail our E-Scouts on Sunday morning. We do it at different times and really try to promote each class.
That's great advice. All right, one more thing. The Porters and the Melgeses are close. You guys go back a long way. I'm assuming that Harry and the boys consulted with you guys about the Melges 20. Is that right?
I wouldn't go that far, no.
Are there any plans for a 20 for the kids or something?
Oh yeah, we'll get one for sure.
All right. From what you can see, what do you think about what's coming out? What do you think about the boat?
I think it's going to be a really cool boat. You know, I have, heard bits and pieces, probably not a whole lot more than you have, but it sounds like it's just going to be a really fun boat. You know, lots of power and a boat that 3 people can easily sail, and it's got, my understanding is that it brings out a little bit of the scow concepts and the way that things shape, especially in the back end, and it's got a nice flat surfboard type ramp to it, and but it's got a pointed bow, so it's going to get through the waves. It's got a little keel on it, so you don't need to worry about,
Is it so flat that you think that you'll end up sailing it with heel?
I don't know. I don't know. You don't know until you get on one. Right?
Nobody will tell me a straight story, so I'm trying to get as much as I can.
You know, I have a feeling that they're probably going to have a couple of these things that they're really going to test before they open it up to production, so they're going to make sure they really get it right. So I don't even know that they know exactly what they're going to wind up with. I think they're really doing their homework on this one so they can have all the bugs worked out before they go into production. It should be a great boat when it's all done. I can't wait to get on one.
They look cool. They do. They look really cool.
I know. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we've got 2 big Melges regattas coming up in Charleston. We have Charleston Race Week, and who's the sponsor of this interview, and we've also got national championships coming up. Which ones are you going to be at?
When are the nationals? Do you know?
September.
September. I'm going to try to do that. Charleston Race Week is during the summer, right?
It's April.
Oh, it's in April. You never know.
Let us know.
We've got
we'll have 30 plus boats.
We're going to Italy, so we got a lot of organizing for that, and I know my boat will be gone.
All right, man. Well, thank you for everything, Brian. Full Throttle. We'll watch you. We'll be watching you tomorrow. Good luck. Sailing out.